Okay, we're going to start this little video out with showing you exactly what we've got going on here. We've got our bottle of beer right on the edge. I've got a chair that's lit by the sun behind it. I'm going to split that with my lighting. I've got a fill card over here. It's catching a little bit of light, and that's what's giving us that nice little edge down the right side. We're going to probably lose that as I go through this exercise because this one's about ambient light, shutter speed, and flash, and how we control that. So let's take a look at how we build this shot up and the different methods we can use to make the shot different from what we see here in reality. Okay, as you saw in the setup shot, we've got the bottle of beer. The light is coming this way. You can see the shadow. So I'm going to set the meter, just like I always tell you to do in here. I'm going to set the meter just like this, so it's got the same amount of light on the dome as the bottle does, okay? I'm not putting it in front of the bottle, moving it over just a little bit so I get the same amount of light. Press it down, and I've got 8.4. 8.4. 8.4 is what it says to shoot it at 125th of a second at ISO 100. And that's the dome out. I'm using incident light meter readings. And our first exposure. And there we have, well, it looks like it's correctly exposed to me. Got the chair looks right. I'm looking right here at my my setup. Here, the chair looks right. Looks like that's the right exposure. Now we're going to change that exposure by adding strobe to it. So we have many things that we can do. First of all, well, before we add the strobe, let me show you this. We're at 125th of a second here. And I'm going to take this shot and I'm going to dial it down by thirds of a stop with my shutter speed. Now I'm at 1/160th, now I'm at 1/200th, and now I'm at 1/250th, which is the maximum, the fastest that I can sync with this camera. So what you're going to see here is that the shot gets ultimately darker and darker as I go down. That's because the shutter speed is going down by 1/3 stop. We're going to introduce the strobe now because the strobe has a different way of working. The strobe power on this side of the bottle will always remain the same. So let's get a strobe meter reading here by taking the flash meter off of incident and putting it on flash. Take an exposure reading of the bottle with the flash. And it says 11.8. That's too much, so we've got to go down with our strobe. I'm going to go down to a 64th power on the strobe. Take a shot. And it says f8.02. So let's take the shot with the strobe at f8.02 and the sun at f9. I don't change anything, by the way, folks. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to leave the camera on f9 at 1/125th of a second. And I come right in here for the shot. And there we go. Now do you see how the flash lights the bottle, makes it even all the way through? A little bit of a dark area that we could fix later with some cards and stuff. But right now we're just showing you the difference. Now watch what happens when I dial the shutter speed down. I'm going to go to 1/160th. I'm going to go to 1/200th. I'm going to go to 1/250th. Actually, I'm going to go to 1/320 and see if it works. It did. It got a little bit of a dark line, but I got it. But you can see the background gets darker and darker, but the flash lit side of the bottle stays the same. The flash is a constant power. The shutter speed controls our ambient light. And that's why I'm always saying, first find your ambient. The ambient light is exactly where you want to start. Once I had my ambient, you notice I didn't change my aperture. I left it alone, and I just changed my shutter speed to change the background. So that's a little bit of a way that to think about your meter and using it outside with flash.